Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Movement. I want to talk to you people. We got to where we oppressing ourselves. Our oppressive behavior is got to change because we've been keeping up with the Joneses too much. And we're not worrying about ourselves. We're not worrying about our own household. We got to get our own household in order. There's some stuff in our household that's really messed up right now. And we so worried about what somebody else got going on that we'll even call them up and say, what's going on? We want to know what you got going on. Then sometimes folks get to where they'll just get quiet on the phone. Don't just want to hold the phone, sit there and listen and see if they can listen and hear something going on. They don't want you to tell them ain't nothing going on. They want to hear for themselves if something really going on. And then when they hear something, they want to ask about that. Well, what they say over there? Well, wait a minute. You called to ask me what's going on. I told you ain't nothing going on. So why you still want to try to make something going on where you can go and have something to talk about? See, we got to shut this chaos down at the door. We do. We got to shut it down at the door. We got to end this because this is drama. And then what happened, people? Good versus evil. You got this battle going on. And this evil will take over if you let it. It'll take over. That drama, that chaos, all this and that. We already got so much that we dealing with. And then we put more on top of pile more on top of it. Look what's going around us. But I'm going to tell you something. I can have a smile on my face. Even though it's chaos going on everywhere, all around me, stuff falling apart. I wonder what's getting ready to happen next. But that right there, I don't stress about it no more, honey. I don't stress about it no more because God is in control. I can have a smile on my face because the Lord told me it's going to be all right, not to worry about it. He told me that he is in control. God, I'm tell you something. It's special. It's real special when you can sit at peace and with a smile on your face. And your biggest problem is wondering if a squirrel is going to be able to get his acorn he dropped down in the tree. That's my biggest problem because I don't let nobody else's problem be my problem. I don't allow the chaos and the drama in. When they call me and try to penetrate with some of that, I shut it down at the door. So now they know don't even call me with that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the latest. I used to live for the latest. Used to call folks up, see if they heard the latest, before I get the latest. Who got the latest? Who know? What's going on? All on Facebook, all on people's page, reading, looking this. One time somebody put up a post. I see nosy people around. That was me. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't worry about people's stuff. That's their problem. That's their confusion. That's their chaos going on. I don't scroll through people's timelines. I don't do that. I may post something in the ministry on somebody's page telling you have a blessed day. I hope you feel all right. God loves you. Something like that to motivate somebody, lift somebody up so somebody can have a good day. But to be reading through people's timelines, say different things and find out this and won't know that. No, I eliminate that. I don't want no parts of that. So people, we really need to do better. We do. We need to do better as a people. We got future kings and queens that are looking at us. These are our role models. We are their role models. And in the future, they'll be ours. But right now we paving the way for them. So what are we showing them? How are we showing our children that we're going to make it better for them? They got to look at strip clubs, abandoned buildings, YouTube videos, World Star videos, stuff they shouldn't even be looking at as children. You didn't look at that. You didn't watch that when you was a child. So just imagine how that mind is festering. What that mind is thinking, because what you put in, that's what you get out. So you have to monitor not only where they at, but what goes in them. Just like my grandbaby. I monitor what he watches, what he looks at, what he plays with. I monitor that type of activity. And we have to be mindful, people, because I'm telling you something. They're going to grow up and be teenagers, and then you ain't going to be able to control them. You got to rein them in now. You got to, you done use the school as a babysitter. And what they doing in there is fighting and clowning. They ain't in there learning really. Props to the teachers. I dealt with them kids. But I'm telling you, we need to take control of our children's education. We need to take control of our children because we didn't kind of let them go. Let them go do things, and not knowing where they at. It's a different day and time. I understand that. But we need to rein our children in because they coming up missing. They don't know where they at. And ain't nobody looking for them. When you report them to the police, they runaways. But let somebody of another race come up missing, it's an Amber Alert. It's all, it's chaos. We got all stops. Everybody got to look. So we got to do better, people. As a people, as a race of people, we need to get strong. We need to stand together. We need to be united. We need to stop hating on one another. We need to stop oppressing one another. We need to help one another out, help one another up. My brother, look, let me tell you about the Grow Program, man. Look, this what you do. You just you start thinking positive. Start thinking better about yourself because it's time for Africans to rise. It's time for us to come out with substance. I talk to people, when I can. When I can get with somebody, I'm talking to you on the podcast now. I talk to people on Facebook. Anytime I can, I tell somebody about the Grow Program. Whoever called me on the phone, have you heard about the Grow Program? They call me to telemarket me. Well, I want to telemarket you while you on the phone. Tell somebody some good news. Tell somebody something that may help them, lift them up. Some people feeling down right now. Africans, if you walk around, don't have a smile on their face no more. We ain't happy no more. But look at the times that we living in. We living in oppressive times. Before we were living in some horrible times. We all ain't make America great again. Ain't never really been great for us. I don't understand, never understood that statement. That's one thing I would like to ask. What did that mean? Really, what did it mean for us? I just never understood that right there. Maybe one day I might get the answer. But people, we got to make it great for us. We do. We got to make America great for us. We are here, and so we got to rise. We got to come out with substance. We got to stand united as a people. We got to begin to build wealth. We got to begin to build for our future kings and queens. Look out for them. These kids are looking at us. When I go outside the room, my grandson look up at me. What we gonna do now? What you got going on? What you getting ready to do? He looking up at me, want to know what we getting ready to do. And your children are too. They looking up at you. Mama, what's next? What you got planned? What we gonna do? What about the future? What about tomorrow? They ask you that all day long. What about this? What about that? So we need to get it together for them. We need to get it together for our babies. We do. I love our children. That's why I work with them. I used to have fun with those kids. I did. Driving a school bus. I did that for 7 years. Then I drove city bus the rest of that time. But I love working with children. I do. Children are funny. Children are smart. Their minds are just awesome. They're resilient. They bounce back from anything, and it's really sad that they got to see a lot of trauma nowadays. My thoughts and prayers are constantly with our children, and I love to see them smile. I love to see them happy. Kids, let kids be kids. Let boys be boys. They tried to tell me, I'm going to tell you something. With my son, you got to be careful about these medications you putting on your children too, because they tried to tell me that my son needed this type of medication as a boy when he didn't in fact need nothing. I didn't put him on nothing. They were trying to tell me that. Come to find out the boy just fine. He didn't need anything. He just a boy. You gotta let boys be boys. That's how they are. You guys can't medicate these children. If they need it, fine. All this ADHD and all this other stuff ain't ADHD. They just boys. My brothers was boys and your brothers was boys. You know, they mischievous, they getting the stuff, they inquisitive, they want to know, they ask a lot of questions. Don't suppress that. Don't suppress that. Let's watch out for our children. We got to grow, people. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. I love you. Please visit the website www.growprogram.org. God bless you and keep you. Be woke, be safe, be blessed. Let's grow.